Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Hit the bell, subscribe. We have new content coming out daily. Make sure you subscribe. God bless you guys. The base is very smart, and they're constantly looking in a way of who's going to betray me next. This is the advice I gave to DeSantis privately and publicly. And right now, the Rubicon has been crossed where they think DeSantis is going to betray him. I'm not even saying that's fair, but I'm not saying it's fair.
Charlie,
it's honest.
I mean, Trump has done far more to betray the truth and in a certain way the respect of the base every time he lies about DeSantis, right? So when he lies about COVID in Florida, who was the best governor for COVID in Florida, COVID in the country?
DeSantis, 100%. But here's
the
thing.
Who has done more work and more praise for Paul Ryan? Is it Ron DeSantis or Donald Trump?
For Paul Ryan, I can't speak either way. But at the same time, we could talk about again after the break.
I can't speak either way. I mean, I can show you plenty of videos of Trump talking about how much he loves Paul Ryan.
But Dave, I'm going to tell you, this line of what you're getting at is not persuasive to the base. Please finish the argument.
No, it's all good. And Charlie, really, we would do this over drinks. I want people to understand that. Yes. Like, there is something that transcends politics here. Well, let me ask you something, because one thing that I've been confused, sort of going off what you said right before the break, was that that DeSantis has handed this off to a class of people or something. Is it your position that Ron DeSantis has anything to do with Karl Rove or Paul Ryan?
Oh, no,
because Donald Trump says that.
I don't think he does.
Donald Trump does that repeatedly, and that's what all the tweet people say.
But
DeSantis,
Dave, I'll be honest. He's acting like he does.
I'm just asking you your opinion.
He's acting like he might as well, because he's acting and talking like Karl Rove is running his campaign.
No, hold on. Do you have any evidence or any reason to believe that Karl Rove or Paul Ryan have anything to do with Ron DeSantis or his campaign?
Except for the fact that Fox has been very favorable to DeSantis and Paul Ryan sits on the board, but that seems like a reach. And so what I'm not going to do, Dave, is I'm not going to go through every Truth Social and go through all that with, Trump saying this and all that.
Well, Charlie,
that's blood sport of politics. But
sure, we don't have to go through all of that, but it is important, I think, to some degree, because I agree with what you're saying about the base in their passion for Donald Trump and why it's important and shouldn't be ignored. And by the way, when I'm frustrated with some of the surrogates, let's say, or some of Trump's behavior, lying about Florida and COVID, that sort of thing, that's a direct frustration. It's not a frustration with the people that support him. But for example, I have the exact quote right here from DeSantis about a month ago. I actually did a little research before I joined you today. This is a direct quote from DeSantis. "I have not spoken to Paul Ryan since I was elected governor, and I've met Karl Rove once." I really think it's important that your viewers who are the base understand that, because if you listen to any of the surrogates and Donald Trump himself, they're implying that he's somehow working with these people and that they are in charge of his campaign and everything else. And it's simply not true.
Okay.
And I think that's important. That's important to note.
But no, that's fair. I'm glad we cleared that up. DeSantis has gotten favorable treatment on Fox and Paul Ryan as a board member there. But let me put that aside. Let me just say, though, the type of campaign
he went. Trump was on with Bret Baier, 2 weeks ago?
Fair enough. I would say, though, that was a mostly peaceful interview, as we would say. But let me just put it with the type of campaign I want DeSantis to run is like Vivek, which is there needs to be a sign of respect towards Trump that I don't feel from DeSantis. I'll be very honest. DeSantis is a governor thanks to Donald Trump. That primary was not going well for him, right? So he's challenging the alpha beast, right? He's challenging the guy that did kind of anoint him to win the primary and eventually the general. Vivek is smart. Vivek is reading the room that these indictments, the amount of criminalization of Trump really increases people's fervor of the injustice towards him. So DeSantis has a choice. Do you run kind of a policy technocratic campaign, which is what he's running, and I don't think it's going very well, or do you read the room and you realize the base has an attachment to Trump and I'm going to respect that? It seems as if it's in some kind of murky middle. I guess my question is, Dave, how do you think the campaign is going?
Right. Well, I would say that, first off, just quickly on the Vivek thing, because I don't want to spend too much time on that. It's fairly obvious to anyone paying attention that Trump and Vivek are coordinating, right? Vivek is doing all endless attacks on DeSantis, no attacks on Trump, and all of the Trump surrogates online, you know who they are. They're always pumping up Vivek because Vivek's going after DeSantis. Also, if I was to believe any of the polls, and national polls, by the way, mean absolutely nothing, we're also 7 months away from the first primary. Really think about that. The first primary isn't until January of next year. and everyone's going crazy as if, oh my God, on any given day, like the whole world is going to spin out of control. You would never, if you were so confident of your lead, you would never spend all day attacking the number 2 guy. So that's just a little insider political jockeying. However, I will agree with you that in terms of some of the strategy of the rollout, they probably should have been more aggressive. I do see that changing. Look, DeSantis just went on Russell Brand last week. He just went on CNN for the first time last week. I think he's doing Megyn Kelly this week, if I'm not mistaken, and she's been very, very critical of him. Russell's a lefty. I mean, he certainly is, no one that you would call a traditional conservative by any stretch. I would love to see him go on The View, sit directly with those women and call out their endless lies about Florida. Anna Navarro, who lives in Miami, who rails against Florida every day. He should sit right next to her and call her out. So if your question is really, do you want to take some of the anger that the base has because of the way Trump's being treated, and he's being treated horribly, and I completely agree with that.
It's righteous.
I agree. There's probably some way to do that, but I would also say to some extent, if you just want to view this, if you just want to view this in the political lens, maybe this is why Trump should stop lying about DeSantis every which way, and he is. Everything he says about DeSantis is a lie. Everything he says about Florida.
I'll be honest. It's also a lie when DeSantis goes after Trump and says he was pro-Fauci and all that. That's just not true.